Why hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we are heading back to The Sims 4 and we're going to be building a house for my legacy family, which I've been recording the progress of through my Legacy Diaries series, which I'll link in the cards if you haven't caught any of it so far. This house ends up having 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and if you play The Sims 4 and you'd like to download it, I'll have my origin ID listed in the description down below. So the entire structure of this build was heavily inspired by a build that I saw made in The Sims 3 here on YouTube by a creator who goes by the name of Into the Simulation. Their build was inspired and based off of a architectural style which I'm personally not familiar with. I believe that it was called the New England Salt Box, and when they built it, it was had this amazing red paneling on the outside, and it was a really fantastic build, and I really often go to watch builds made in The Sims 3 for inspiration whenever I want to build in The Sims 4. So yeah, I will leave Into the Simulations video also listed in the description down below, and I really recommend that you go and check out their channel because they've actually been building an entire world in The Sims 3 because that's something that you can do, and all of their builds are so amazing. They are stupidly talented. I wish that I had that much creativity. I love building in The Sims 4, but I find it so overwhelming to just start off with a blank lot and to just build without any kind of inspiration or reference point at all. So that is why I go and find videos made in The Sims 3. I go to Pinterest to look at floor plans of houses which people could have made in real life. Speaking about builds in The Sims 3, I know I mentioned that game quite a lot if you've watched any of my Sims 4 series, but I find them so inspiring because of the way wider creative features you have in that game, like the color wheel and just the incredible amount of customization that you can have with every item, wallpaper, flooring, or whatever in the game. It's just crazy. So I like to go and watch those videos because houses look so much more real in The Sims 3. I don't know what it is. I think it is because of that way that you can customize it so much. Something about builds in The Sims 4 always seem to come out so squeaky clean and perfect, which is great, and I love this game, but The Sims 3 will always have a special place in my heart, so I'm gonna stop harping on about that game because I've talked about it enough at that point. Or by this point, rather. So let's talk about the exterior of this build. As I mentioned, Into the Simulation's original exterior of this house when they built it was this amazing red paneling. And just for fun, I decided to test out the Tudor inspired exterior which came with the Get Together pack just for fun. And I ended up really liking it. It was originally a bit of a joke, but then I just thought, no, this actually really fits. If you haven't bought it or if you haven't seen a lot of it, the Get Together pack features this amazing world called Windenburg, which we're playing in right now. And it is a world inspired heavily by Europe, and a lot of the build items which came with it are very Tudor inspired as well, which I've always thought were very cute, but that I've never tried to build with myself, I don't think, or at least not in a really long time. And so after I tried out that wallpaper on the exterior, I fell in love, and it really set the tone for this build entirely. As you can see, we kind of went full in with the really dark paneling, the stone, we've got a very dark roof as well. And I fell in love with it. I thought that it was just fantastic. So if you haven't caught any of the Legacy series so far, our family has actually been living out in the countryside of Windenburg this entire time, and I really love this area of the world. It feels very big and like there's a lot to explore, which this challenge started off as a rags to riches, which if you don't know, it's where you essentially start with no money in your household and you have to make money through fishing and creating your own stuff essentially to make money, which is one of my favorite ways to play the game. And this area is such a fantastic place to do it in because you have so many different places to go fishing, there are so many spots to find collectibles, and as well it's just a really pretty place to play in. So although this expansion pack was the second one to be added to the game, it's one of my favourites by far. So yes, our family has been living out here this entire time. We started with our founder, Chloe Winters, and she earned enough money to eventually build herself this really cute farm cottage out here in this area of the world, and it's great and I love it, but it's too small and we need to upgrade, so that's why we're building this new house today. But also on that, I fell in love so much with the farmhouse style of the house that I originally built that I wanted to slowly transition all other housing lots in this area of the world to also be very farm-like. So we moved out a couple of other families to this area, including some Sims who have become friends with people in our household over time throughout the series so far. And so I moved in some amazing farmhouse builds that other creators in the community have made and uploaded to the gallery. And so that was the vibe that I was going for. But this house changes everything. I am so in love with this Tudor style, and it fits in so well with some of the builds that the game kind of pre-populated in this area, and who knows, we might be seeing a lot more Tudor houses in this area very soon. Not saying too much for now, but yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. So I didn't end up decorating the back of this house too much, and that's because I didn't move in the family right away because we can't actually afford it. We will do eventually, hopefully, but yes, so I haven't decorated the back garden. I did the front garden quite a bit, but the back I haven't, and that's again because the family isn't here, so we don't have the crops that we've spent this entire time growing. So when I eventually get to move them in, I will build out the garden. I also wanted to put in a fire pit and like an outdoor eating area, but whether we can fit it in or not will kind of hinge on how much space I need to add or take away for the garden, because I've got a feeling that it'll be quite big as it has become quite an essential source of money for us. So yeah, that's something that you may just have to stick around and keep watching for. So if you haven't seen any of my Legacy Diaries series so far, I'll really quickly run through the personalities of our founder, Chloe Winters, and her new fiance, Tristan, because I feel like I really wanted to make sure that I made their personalities dictate how I decorated this build, which isn't something that I normally do, but I really wanted to make sure that I did it this time round. So Chloe loves the outdoors, loves dogs, and has the maker trait. Those are her traits, but she also is at level 8 of the gardening skill and has pretty high charisma and comedy skills, especially in comparison to the Sims who I usually make, who I usually just focus on making them make as much money as possible and not making any friends. But I really pushed the boat out with this one and made my Sim actually talk to people. But anyway, Chloe has made a lot of friends and she loves to entertain them, but so far just hasn't had space in the house that we built her. So having space to entertain in this house was really important, and we actually dedicate an entire room on this bottom floor to be an entertainment space. And even though these two are going to be making a family, I didn't want them to just completely lose themselves in that, and I wanted to make sure that they had a space separate from where the kids could go. You know, they've got really fancy bar in there and like a foosball table and a couple of little chairs to sit in, which I thought would just be a really nice place for them to go sit and entertain their friends without their children around. So because Chloe has built her way up from nothing, again, we started this challenge as a rags to riches. I think Chloe would really have been attracted to this older house and the idea of getting to decorate it in her own quirky way. But having said that, I also think that she's very practical, and I didn't want to decorate it too extravagantly or too expensively, hence why everything stays very kind of neutral and still grounded in kind of woods and the kind of like naturalness, if that makes sense. But Tristan, on the other hand, is romantic and he loves to paint, and in the way that he dresses, I'd say he's kind of a bit more flamboyant than Chloe in that way. a little bit more sophisticated, could we say. And so, yeah, having a space for him to paint is very important, and also getting to entertain people. He's got a brother who, since their parents died, oh, sorry, spoilers for the series, their parents died. He's now got a brother who's all alone. And so I think, yeah, having space to entertain him and have him around is also really important. But because he's also, you know, kind of the flirtatious type, I think that he would have taken on the responsibility of decorating the bedroom. Hence why when we get round to decorating it, you'll see that it's quite different from the rest of the house and that it's very dark. And I'd say kind of a pretty central space. They also have a giant ensuite bathroom with a huge bath, which I'm in love with. The conservatory or plant room is my favourite part of the house, hands down. It doesn't have any ceiling lights in. The only light sources are from the exterior light, which comes through the giant windows, like the natural light during the day. And at night, I covered the floor in candles. So I wanted it to just be a very peaceful space where, you know, Sims could go to be mindful. I don't know if the way they're programmed, they'll ever just go and sit in there for fun, but we'll see how that works out practically wise when we get actually into playing with this house, which I'm so excited to do. So you may notice that quite a lot of the surfaces and walls in this house are left quite empty, and that's because I wanted a lot of room to fill them up with pictures I've taken in the game. As I continue to grow the family and play with them, I also got a fantastic mod which allows you to buy a picture frame, which when you then place it in game, generates a picture of your current household, which you can then lock to preserve what your family looked like at the time that you bought the photo frame, so that you can really track over time how your household has changed. And I've played with it a little bit and I love it. So the link to that mod is in the description of my 3rd episode of the Legacy Challenge, I believe. So yeah, I will also link that. But on that note of decorating, I am surprised that the speed build is not 30 minutes to an hour long, because with how long this build took me to do, or at least how long it felt it took me to do, I thought it would be so long. So yeah, I'm sorry if this build is a little choppy. I did speed up quite a bit and cut out quite a lot because I haven't played this game this consistently in a really long time, and I haven't done a build like this in even longer, so I've kind of lost track of all the new items that have been added in packs as I've gone through time. I don't have all the packs, but I've got a good number of them, and so I've kind of forgot about all the little items and where they live, etc., which meant that decorating took quite a lot longer. So in a way, it was quite good that I had the excuse of getting to leave surfaces empty so that I didn't have to spend twice as long probably trying to search through and find all the items to decorate them with. So as you've probably noticed by now, I cut out doing a lot of the floor planning because that bit always takes me so long, and that is where I deviated slightly from the original build. Also, if you notice any clipping with the roof, I'm really sorry about that. I haven't play tested this house, which probably isn't great. But I was having a lot of issues where I really wanted to add in some platforms, as they were added in one of the recent updates. Well, not that recent anymore. So I really wanted to add in platforms, but I couldn't for the life of me get it to work without kind of getting the roofing glitch to come in, which if you haven't experienced it yet, firstly, lucky you. But it's basically where the game doesn't recognize the room that you're in as a room, especially if you try to build a fence in the room or kind of cut out a section of the flooring, or if you try to build platforms, apparently. And so the roof will cut into the room and you can't get rid of it. So that's super annoying. And it meant that I didn't quite have as much freedom, or I couldn't experiment as much with this build as I would have wanted to. So yeah, that was pretty annoying. So also as a note on the floor planning, I have left 3 of the bedrooms empty or 2 of the bedrooms empty rather, because we currently only have 1 child. We've got little Jack. I also cut out decorating his room because I don't have any of the toddler or children's stuff packs, meaning that I don't actually have that much content in the way of decorating for kids, so I thought that it wasn't that great, and I also didn't put that much effort into it at the time. So yeah, but we are now coming into the final walkthrough of the house. I love this entranceway. I think it's especially grand, and we also have the post box in there for some reason. But then as you come in and turn right, we've got Tristan's painting studio. If we cross through the room, we've got this little kind of hallway, and then off to the right again, we've got the kind of adult rec room, I guess you could call it, but then and a little downstairs bathroom there as well. As you can see, lots of empty surfaces. Look out into the very barren garden. And then we come into the kitchen and living room and dining room, which is definitely the central feature of this house. I love the kitchen. The living room, I'm not 100% on, but I'm happy with it for now. We are then coming into one of the empty bedrooms, which I thought it'd be fun to have that kind of little stage going up there up to the window, which was very cute. And then we have the lookout window, which I just love, and then the main family bathroom upstairs. We are then coming into little Jack's room. Again, it's not very interesting. And another empty bedroom. As you can see, the roof is clipping through there, so not sure about that. But then we've got Tristan and Chloe's room and their bathroom. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. If you've got any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again soon.